back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are talking about my 2021 favorites. I think this is the video that everybody loves to make and really anticipated one, right? So we're talking about my favorite books. I have to admit that this year has not been that amazing for me content-wise or quality-wise. I've tried experimenting with books and it did not turn out the way I would have wanted it to. So this year I'm gonna stick a bit more to my comfort zone while still discovering new authors, writers, and reading books from different regions in the world. But yeah, let's get started with the books that I have here. The first one is one you probably have heard about it, I'm not sure, and that is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is a Japanese literature, so it's translated from Japanese, and it's about this little cafe in an alleyway in Tokyo, known for this urban legend that says that people that go there can travel back in time. But there are a lot of rules around that. You can only travel back in the cafe, only meet people for a short period of time, so before your cafe gets cold, and coming back. And we follow this cast of character and 4 different timelines of different people that travel back in time. So we really not only people that actually come into the cafe, but also people working in the cafe. And this cast of character has so much warmth and so much depth, and we learn a lot about what it means to regret, right? What it means to love. How does that look different from one person to another? What it means to let go, what it means to accept. There's a lot about this idea of accepting and fatality, in the sense where accepting a truth that you know you cannot change. And there's a lot you can learn from these characters interacting with each other. It's also very short and very eerie, and there are of course these elements of magical realism which are so specific to Japanese literature. I think it's a lovely book which I would actually recommend. Next we have a book that I truly loved, and I have a full-on review on that one which I will leave you guys somewhere up here, and you can go and watch it and really get to learn more about my thoughts on a deeper way. That book is Short Letter Long Farewell by Peter Handke. Now this is translated from German. The book is Peter Handke is a Nobel Prize winner, and this book is such a great exploration of the self. It's a very philosophical satire and a very long philosophical thesis or essay, but in the form of fiction. It's also very clear in terms of language because I feel it's translated, so you can really read it easily, and it's beautifully written. And we follow this guy who is an Austrian man who finds himself in the United States, traveling around the country and also running away from his wife. There's a lot about this movement, right? There's a lot unfolding and happening as we move, and you explore this idea of identity and movement in the sense where how do people, when they're out of their cultures, countries, perceive themselves when they are somewhere else. He does that a lot while being in the US. There are a lot of interactions with other people, a lot of thoughts about identity and values and standing still versus moving. And I love that so much. I think it's really beautifully done, and it's a very meditative book also, but it makes you ask a lot of questions. I would recommend it. It's short, but it takes a while to read it and really enjoy every single sentence because it's definitely worth it. Okay, next we have a bit of a different book. This is one by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She's really known on Booktube for her book The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I haven't read yet, or Daisy Jones and the Six. But I actually read I read Daisy Jones and the Six and some other books by her, and actually my favorite by her is One True Loss, and this one, I really like this one. This one is After I Do. Now Taylor Jenkins Reid does something so well, and that's relationships, so romantic relationships, literally. She writes these dynamics so well. I mean, beyond that, she also really writes characters so well, and this is something you could see in Daisy Jones and the Six. But in this book we follow this couple that have known each other forever. They got married really young, and then their the marriage starts falling apart for no particular reason. Nothing happens. There's no act of unfaithfulness or financial issues. It's just these little things that keep piling up and keep being unaddressed, and then they fire back. So they decide to take a year apart before going for a divorce or whatever, and see how that would go. And then we follow them, and mostly the perspective of Lauren, and we see how humans are, how you define yourself versus how you define yourself with someone else. What do the relationships of our life mean, and how much they are us or part of us, and how much they make us. And it's really beautiful exploration of letting go, of accepting also, but also of fixing and hope and family and support systems. It's really, really well done. It makes you ask questions, and I love Taylor Jenkins Reid because with her books she's always pushing me to imagine those very unlikely scenarios, but those scenarios, what they do exactly is to make you think, and I think that's what books are supposed to make you feel. So I would highly recommend this one. I read this one on a beach in Portugal this summer, and it was really, really great. Yeah. Okay, what do we want to do next? Okay, let's do a French book. Okay, let's do a French book. I read this random little French book that I bought in a library at Grenoble one day. I was waiting for my sister in the summer, and I just went inside and bought this one and another one, and it was really, really interesting. I loved it. I think I have a type. It's like some sort of stream of consciousness, but not fully Virginia Woolf style. This is Éloge du Petit Matin by Rémi Baudriri. I'm not sure this is translated, so this is mostly to the ones of you that can read French. This is just a book about waking up before dawn and walking around cities. So the author literally walks around Paris, Casablanca, Heidelberg in Germany, and he just explores what does the aube or sunrise or dawn means to him as a person, and what does waking up before everybody else means to him. And he compares that with nowadays crazy thing of this 5 a.m. club people that wake up to work out and read and journal and do yoga, and he doesn't do that. He just wakes up and go walking, and he doesn't think, he doesn't move much other than the act of walking, but he just let his thoughts loose, and he writes about that, and it's so well done. This is such a Sophia book. If you know me, I just love when you take thoughts and meditations, write them down as you do something, so that you link the act of thinking with other acts of doing. And I think it was so well done. There are also so many references to literature, to cities, to childhood. He grew up in Casablanca in Morocco also. He lived in France as well. He's French, I think, and German. And it's really funny because he references, who do you think does he reference here? He references Peter Handke a lot. So, and I had no idea, like, okay, this is like a little moment. So I would highly recommend it, and it's so tiny. Actually, most of the books I read this year are tiny. I like tiny books. They're fun, easy to read. There you go. That. Well, easy is relative. Some of them are difficult to read, but you can read them quickly, so you can read other books. The more the merrier. Okay, just some thoughts of mine. Well, maybe not the more the merrier, but anyways. Let's move to poetry. Let's do poetry. Okay. Oh my god, there's an insect in my coffee. I just saw that. How cute. Okay, next we do Neruda. Isla Negra. I love this book. It's a collection of his poems about Isla Negra in Chile, his home country of Chile. Beautiful poems about the ocean, about the Pacific, about what it means to be an artist writing. There are also some references to exile, civil war, civil unrest in Spain. I have a full-on, what are they called? Review. I have a full-on review which I will link up here in the screen somewhere, and you can go and hear me ramble about it. It was lovely. This one I read in Rabat by the Atlantic Ocean. I love how I remember where I read each one of these books. It's really nice. Yeah, so I love this book. Very, very nice poems, lovely writing. I feel like when it's somebody like Neruda, there is only so much I can say. But I have detailed thoughts in that review. If you're interested, you can go there and check them out. Okay, the last two ones are actually a team, and I love them a lot. One is one of my all-time favorites now, and I make a lot of people read them. Okay, first let's start with this one. The Blue Between Sky and Water by Susan Abu Hawa. This was our first pick for the Books from Palestine book club, and we read it all together, and it was really amazing. We follow a family from 1947 all the way to present day, as they were kicked off their village of Beit Taras in Palestine as the Israeli invasion of Palestine started in 1947, and we really followed that life of exile, of refugees, and there's so many characters involved in this book. It's absolutely lovely. We follow different family members. Some of them survive for a very long time, and we can really see this life of hardship, of exile, of longing for the home, for the home country, for the place of birth, for the ties with the land. Of course, it explores a lot Palestinian history and the Palestinian cause and the Palestinian struggle as we know it, through these people that will just be kind of living either in a refugee camp or scattered around the world, and this family that's not finding that root, and also what it means to be a refugee, what are the consequences on future generation, and we explore all of that. Some passages are really harsh. They speak a lot of the violence and the death and the horrors that the Israeli occupation force have been exercising on Palestinians up to present day, of course. But it's so beautifully written. The writing in this book is magical. Like, this is where you know that people like Susan Abu Hawa, like, this is when you feel that there are writers, but then there are really these writers with this gift of magic. And I feel like this is one of these writers. I would highly recommend it. It's so lyrical, so poetic also, so nicely done. Highly recommend. And the last one is actually now on my list of top favorite books ever. What a lovely book it is. I think I have a review on this one. I don't have a review in particular, but it's in this memoirs video, which I would also leave here, and I speak more in detail about it. That is I Saw Ramallah by Mourid Berghouti. When I knew he passed away in February 2021, I really was so sad. My heart was shattered. But I'm so thankful he left us this and the second tome, or the second part, which is I Was Born Here, I Was Born There. Basically, in this book, he is going back to Palestine for the first time since years, or since he left even. And he's just taking us back with him to his village of Dar Ghassana, taking us back to his people, to his roots, as he reflects on a life of exile and what it means to always be the stranger, the outsider, the foreigner, and always be this foreigner in other people's countries where you long for your own, but you know you cannot go back. How does that affect your family life, your career, your life, just your life, your identity as a human being? And the writing, oh god, boy, I love this writing so much. This book, oh, so good, you guys, so good. You can tell I loved it. Beautiful memoir, beautiful autobiography, such a nice wrap of what it is to be Palestinian nowadays. what it means to grow Palestinian outside of Palestine. So well done. Highly recommend this one. If there's any book you're gonna pick from this list, I would recommend this one. Yeah, so we have that. Alright, you guys, these were my favorites of this year. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of those, and of course what your favorites are, and if I had to read one of your favorites this year, which one would it be? I would be really curious to know that and to add it to my TBR. Bonus points if you know my reading taste also. No, but really just tell me about any book that is your favorite. So happy new year once again. I wish you a lovely day, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this. You can subscribe to this channel if you think that's something relevant to you, that you enjoy watching those videos, and you can also follow me on Instagram for more content. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.